Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Well, we've finally got the rain. Significant amount, actually. Our creek behind the house is, it's not above banks, but it's flowing real good. In fact, one of the low water crossings I just passed is probably 4 or 5 inches of water over the road. Quite a bit of rain, lightning. Nothing severe though, but yeah, we finally got it, and I'm assuming, based on what they're saying, that this is bringing in some cool weather after this, because it's been decently warm and humid the last few days. Nothing extreme, but I think this very could possibly bring in the fall weather. And as you can see, it's really dark. I guess I could I turn the light on? Here we go. There we go. That looks better, doesn't it? It's not that it's that much earlier than normal. It's just, heavy cloud cover driving through the woods here. Anyways, I know some of you just absolutely dearly love me driving on these bumpy roads, the jiggly camera. Hey, that's what it's like. Out here, if you choose to live in places like where I live, you better get used to driving on gravel, bumpy roads, because that's what you're going to see a lot of. That's a good sign of how, the area. If you live out in the country and there's lots and lots of paved roads and they're nice and smooth, well, how do you think they get those roads paved? Well, they get them through taxation. They tax people, and then they have nice roads. And which means that they're going to have higher taxes. Places where there's mostly gravel roads, and a lot of times not really kept well gravel roads, is a good indicator that taxes are low, kind of like out here where we're at. And you can't have it all. You want less government and low taxes, well then you're not going to get quite the same level of government service. And personally, I'm just okay with that. Back a little bit on this illegal invasion problem. It's being reported out of Chicago which it's interesting because not that long ago, not that many days ago, the news media was denying this was happening, but they're saying that gangs in Chicago, native Chicago gangs, are clashing with Venezuelan gangs. There's a lot of gang violence, gang wars going on in the streets in Chicago because you've got all of these gangs from south of the border coming up and trying to take over territory in Chicago. So it's just another indicator. I'm certainly not going to side with the Chicago gangs, even if they are native-born gangs. Violence is violence, but it's just showing that this kind of stuff is just escalating. Another thing that's not necessarily recent, it's been going on, but it does seem to be getting worse, is just overall violence in America's streets. Now, it is so far concentrated, at least to the level that I'm getting ready to speak of. It's so far concentrated to the big cities, New York, LA, Philadelphia, Chicago, where it's large masses of people getting out there and just doing violent things, partying, street racing, just general chaos. People getting injured, properties being destroyed. And to me, and I've noticed a few others starting to speak up about this online, it's almost like it's a coordinated revolution, like a color revolution. And if you take in consideration the totality of what we've seen over the last few years between illegals pouring into this country from all over the world, many mostly third world countries, and then the racial strife, the racial division here in the United States, it is like that there's a coordinated color revolution going on. And it's right out of a CIA playbook. The stuff that we're seeing happen here in the United States, these are things that's happened in other countries that we can either nearly prove or show compelling evidence that the CIA was involved in that U.S. intelligence. I've spoken on this next thing a few times on here. I have a friend, and I don't want to give too much information about him, but I have a friend that worked in Army intelligence stuff. In fact, if you've ever seen that YouTube video that has been going around for a while, the Army PSYOP unit, he was part of that. And he has told me that what he sees, and he was part of that unit for a very long time, and was involved in several operations that really aren't even on the books. And he's only told me little bits and pieces. The one thing he tells me often is that what we're seeing here in the United States happen looks so similar to what has happened in other countries that he knows that the United States was involved in. Revolutions and just general upset in their systems, their takeovers and coup attempts and things like that. That's what we're seeing happen here. I mean, can anyone deny? I don't know that the last election was a big coup, and that very likely this election is going to be the same thing. I mean, even aside from the election, look at the fact that how they forced, as much as I don't like Joe Biden, never ever have been a fan of him, but there was definitely a coup, I believe, happened by pushing him out and getting Kamala in as the front runner. The tactics that are happening in American streets, where you're seeing mass amounts of violence, where large groups of people are going in and looting, stealing things, tearing property up, destroying things, massing in the streets, and all of that, along with the reduction in police powers, defund the police, all of this kind of stuff. You've got the white liberal left, talking about how the oppressed and impoverished minority black populations are. It's everything that is happening. I believe we're watching a forced sort of color revolution happening in American streets. And then you throw in, like I said, 20, 30, 40 million illegals, 50 million, however many it is, into that bunch, and it's going to make things more significant. And the thing is what we've seen over the last few years with the illegals coming in, a lot of them are very different from what America once saw as from migrants. So many of these, they have no interest in being American. They're not coming here to be an American and work hard and enjoy the benefits of capitalism and hard work. So many of them have come here out of hatred for our way of life. And they want to destroy it, and they want to take everything that they can. And they want to, benefit from the fact that America has rights, and America is a peaceful nation compared to many others. And they're going to take advantage of that. And all of this combined, in my opinion, of course, is showing that America is, what's going on in the streets anyways, is a big psyop. It's a big operation, whether it's from CIA, Army psyop, FBI, NSA, or just all of them. We're watching this play out, and it's getting worse. And there's many people that have moved out of certain areas of the country because of crime and violence, and it's hilarious because Biden administration, the Harris campaign, has repeatedly regurgitated this lie that crime has gone down in the United States. That we're seeing nearly all-time lows, or at least the lowest crime rates in the last few decades. And they're saying, they're bragging about how they've done this, and it's the most absurd thing, because even the fact checkers have shown that this is incorrect, because the numbers that they're saying don't include some of the highest crime cities in the United States. These crime reports that they're repeating are from the FBI, and several of these big cities like Chicago, New York, LA are no longer reporting their crime rates to the FBI. So those numbers are not included. I mean, think about it. You're taking the biggest cities with the highest crime rates and you're taking them out of the equation. You're certainly not getting accurate numbers. It's kind of like how they do inflation numbers. Oh, inflation's only 2.5%. We're not going to include food and gasoline and rent and insurance and all of these other things that people have to buy on a daily basis. So we'll just say that it's only 2.5%. It's all about skewing the numbers so that they can push their agenda to keep people calm just a little bit longer, so that they can fully implement their plan by infiltrating the United States with criminals, with gang members, with illegals, drug dealers, everything is being poured out into this nation, into the cities, and it's all being done to break us down. In a sense, it's another style of communist revolution. It's no surprise, and it's no secret that Biden and Kamala and the Obamas and all of them, they're all Marxists. And so this is a new style, not completely different, but a newer style of a Marxist revolution that we're watching happen in the United States. And we have to get ready for that. We have to be ready for that. Not get ready, but be ready, because it's happening. It's happening on American streets. So many cities in America are no longer habitable by decent people. It's like they've been turned over. Yes, that's a rough washboard spot. This next stretch of the road is not the worst when it comes to washboard. Just giving you a heads up. But there are so many places in the United States now that are just become uninhabitable by decent, working, moral people. They're just not. And those areas are growing in size. They once were just kind of regulated to small little inner city high crime areas, but now they're spilling into other areas. They're spilling into suburbs. They're spilling into medium-sized cities. And this is going to continue. And we have to be getting ready for that. We have to have a plan to exist as much as you can outside that system, to survive by not having to go out in that mess as much as possible, because that's the best way to avoid it, is just not to go around it, and a plan to defend ourselves as this slowly moves in our areas. It's not a good scenario. I know it's very doomsday-ish, negative, Debbie Downer kind of stuff, but it is happening. It is real. There's no denying it. And instead of sticking our heads in the sand and saying it's just too much for me to think about, my stress levels can't handle this. We have to handle this. We have to handle this, or we're going to die. And it's as simple as that. You need to be getting your houses in order and preparing yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next video.